Greetings. Thanks for joining me today as we cover the Compliance Project Management series of videos. The Compliance Project Management System is designed specifically for tracking of contractors and contractors on projects, for their licensing, any compliance related activities, or just simple reporting that's requested by you or your organization. As you can see, the system automatically opens or at a default of a task window pane. We're going to cover the task window pane in greater detail down the road. Right now, what we want to focus on is the very first thing that takes place with any type of a system is you have to have contractors in order to start. As you can see, we're now open to the contractor window pane. This happened by going up to contractors and browse contractors. A little bit of navigation information would show you that we are on page 1 of 115, which is in the upper left hand side. We're displaying 30 of 3,450 records, and the system defaults to display 30 on each given page by default as it opens. You can navigate through the window pane by actually clicking the arrow, which will take you to the next page, or you can click the drop down and move by groups of pages. We're going to cover a lot of different ways that you might search through the system, and one of those would be right here, just to enter in a company name. As you can see, everything is alphabetized in ascending order. We're going to open up company here, and just to show you kind of what I call the placeholder looks like. The contractor details page contains all of the pertinent information of an individual company or contractor. You can see we have the company name, the type of contractor, and the services that this company provides, their address and phone number and email. It's really important at this point in the juncture that you get as much information as conceivably possible, because a database is only as strong or as good or as functional as the information that's been put into the system. So as you was to go to create a new contractor, you can see all of the fields that are available to fill in to start the very first part of the process. Now let's do a simple search for a company and see what appears. We're going to type in 3 letters, HALL, and keeping in mind that the system is actually searching through 3,450 records to find the one that you're looking for. And there's number 3 on the list is Halliburton Energy Services. So we'll use Halliburton Energy Services today to show you kind of how this system actually functions and flows. Primary placeholder, the General tab, contains the pertinent information that you put in when you first created the record. The company name, the type of approval that the company's received, the services they provide, their address, phone number, and email address. Really crucial to making this system work the best for you is to obtain as much information as possible and certainly get a very good usable email address. The next tab to the right of that is the Persons tab. The Persons tab, no different than the General tab, contains individuals from this company or contractor. These could be the superintendent, they could be the foreman, they could be the bookkeeper, the people that pay the bills, or the people that deal with compliance. There's no limitations to the number of people that you can have within the contact holder, and so it's up to you exactly what you want to put in there. As you can see, as you open up the contractor contact person details, we see Brent's name again and his position. And we also see that if we wanted to have a separate cell phone for him, we could, or a separate email. So on the very first page, you could have had a company email versus an individual email. Whichever email is in the front is the one that gets corresponded with directly throughout the system. All of the systems that you'll find in here, or all of the modules that you'll find in here, are similar in nature, meaning that you'll be able to put some files in here. You might want to put a picture of Brent in here, or his truck in here, or his resume in here. It doesn't make any difference. And any notes that you might have about him. I mean, here you could put in, you know, he likes cookies. Doesn't make any difference what you put in there. Save that. You'll just always know that. So if you come to the file, or more pertinent information like he doesn't like to be called before 10 a.m. on Mondays. So anyway, with that said, as mentioned, you can have as many people in here as you'd like. Okay. The next tab is the tab that controls how people show up within the system, meaning if they have a current license or don't have a license will determine if they are on a list or are not on a list. As we look in here, we have Halliburton's been in business or doing business in this location for the last 4 years. Obviously, a red license means they're expired, and a green one means that they're current and can conduct business. We will cover in further detail the license tab and how you issue one to an existing company that's doing a renewal or how you issue one to a brand new company that's registering for the very first time. Next, we're going to go to the Files tab. The Files tab is pretty neat. It serves as a large electronic filing cabinet. And really what that means is if you look at that big black 4-drawer thing that's in your office that's metal, you can take all of those files, or at least the very most pertinent files, scan them in and place them into this electronic filing cabinet. As you can see on the left hand side, it shows a little arrow. That means there's folders inside of this root. As you click that, it opens up the folder system. This folder happens to be insurance, and it has an arrow as well. That means there's something inside of there, which happens to be another folder, which is January. There's nothing in January. However, all you have to do is simply right click on here and say add a file. As you go up here to add a file, now keep in mind that the file has to be on your system or on a network shared device, something that you scanned in to add it to here. So we're just going to say that this is their Progressive Insurance, and then we'll click save on that. It says that the file was uploaded successfully, so we're going to say OK. And it happened quickly, but if you notice, it did put an arrow beside the January. So as you hover your mouse over that arrow and click that, it will show you now exactly what is inside the folder January. Pretty neat stuff. So let's just say that you wanted to place another folder below January or insurance. We're going to say create a folder, and we're going to put February in there. And even further, let's just say that we wanted to put a folder inside of a folder of February, and we'd said this here is his oh, I don't know, liability insurance. Okay. And so as you can see, the system, it will actually flow as far as you'd like it to go. Now keep in mind, I mean, um, you know, if you're like me and your desk is a mess, then your filing cabinet might be a mess. So how you organize this and how you keep track of what's within the system is going to be as important as anything that you do in order to be able to find information within the system. So with that said, I'll just close these. And as with anything as well, as I mean, if you'd like to delete any of this, you're certainly welcome to. It's always going to confirm that you want to do that. And, you know, there's some other flexibilities here to rename the folder or whatever it is that you'd like. So we'll just close these for now. The next tab is the Notes tab. The Notes tab in this particular instance pertains directly to the contractor, the general contractor, or the company, as that's where we are. And if you look here, it says contractor details. So any information in here, and we use the notes section simply for information about the company that might be of importance that you might want to know before you pick the phone up and try to talk to them. So in here you would put things like, hey, this company was founded in 1940. They have 400 employees. Um, you know, and once again, the owner likes cookies. So if you happen to be sending him something, you might want to send him cookies. Anything that happens within the notes section, when it's modified, shows up down here. The next tab is the Task tab. The Task tab is very important and it assists you with your internal communication of your company, especially if you are like in remote locations, not everybody in the building, or you have a large group of people that need to pay attention and communicate with one another. So as you can see, it says citation tickets, and so we're going to click the details of that. And in here, Dewey had created a task that said Halliburton has 3 tickets that need to be paid, paid 2 tickets and 1 is outstanding. And I just made a note just to show how it worked, and that and it also date stamps and tells you who exactly made the task. And so if you have a large organization, it works pretty slick to know that whoever logged in here made this comment. So as you click on that individual, and let's just say it was a really large organization, it'll open their placeholder and you can find out information about the person that made a comment on the task. And any notes about that person would be in here and a general tab as well. So um, the other thing from the task tab is that you have the ability, it's everything is integrated, intertwined. I mean, it's just like a big web. And so as you can see, if you hover over Halliburton Energy Services, which I'm going to do here is I'm just going to close this behind us. And in the task tab now, we open up Halliburton Energy Services and it opens up their placeholder. You click on Bobby Kruger, it opens up her placeholder. You click on Dewey Hosey, it opens up his placeholder. So no matter where you're at within the system, you have the ability to find out who said what and who it was about and how it pertains to the company and what we need to do next. So with that said, I'm going to close this task and we're going to go up here, remove the filters because everything is a filtered search. And we're going to go in and we're going to search for a company and create a task. Okay, so we're going to search for George Garage, which is a mock company that I had put into the system, and there he shows up. So, and the other thing we're going to do is we're going to open the task pane in the back window and browse task. And so the key thing with the task pane, and let's just cover a small piece of the task pane now, is that if a task is green, that means it's completed. And if a task is red, that means it's expired. And if a task is yellow, that means that it's in progress. So the overdue task, if you click that button, it's going to show you everybody that's overdue. Okay. What's due in the next 7 days? There is nothing due in the next 7 days. So what we want to do now is, and that's why it's really critical that you keep the task pane organized and clean. You can find the active task, prioritized task, as these are the high prioritized ones. So that's a small window pane. Let's leave that and come over here and let's create a task. And in this task, we're going to say that we need a compliance check. Okay. And then you can select the start date that you want this compliance check to take place. And that can be a give and take, obviously. However, you do know that you'd like to have it completed by the 21st. You click accept. Now, you can assign this to any specific person within the system, or you can assign it to a group of people within the system. Right now, I just want to assign it to Kelvin Lawrence, and let's just notify him. That's plenty of people, and we already know that it's George's Garage, so that's fine. And you can put as much information as you want to in here, and that it is the best to probably put as much as possible in here. So we're going to click save on that, and compliance check now. That's due in the next 7 days, so we can click next 7 days, and there it is, compliance check. So as we click on that, okay, we now know that this system is telling us that we have something to do here. So let's go back to the contractor details of George's Garage, and now there's the compliance check right at the bottom. So the nice part about the task is that it stays within the system no matter what you do to it. And the importance of that is let's just say that George Garage comes to your location for a very specific housing project, and they're responsible for building the garages. So they built 200 garages in 2010, and then they leave, and then they return in 2015, and they renew their license. Well, you do a search for George Garage, or you ask them if they've had a license in the past, and if they have, then you can find them and you can have their entire history of what has taken place with this company. So let's go in here now, and I'm going to edit this task just to show you that it's in progress, and now it appears yellow. Edit the task, and when the task is completed, then it becomes completed. Okay, the priorities are normal, and so it's not a big deal. So I'm going to delete the task and confirm that and say yes. So we're going to back to browse task and removing the filters. Okay, so now going back to contractors, browse contractors, there's George Garage. You do know that we deleted the task from the front window pane because we've completed that task. And so we come in here now, but we see that it still sits within the system for them. That's where the importance of this happens. And this is what we need to do in order to make sure that we can maintain all pertinent history for each contractor that comes to work. We've covered the task pane and how the task system works. Let's go back in and let's talk about issuance of a license and why that is so important. We do know that George Garage is a mock company. And so we're going to go into George Garage, we're going to click on them, and here's how you would issue a license to this company. Since it's a new company, they've never had an approved license, you can't issue it from the contractor details. The reason for that is that we want to make sure that you have all of the pertinent information about this company, meaning their insurance folders or who their core crews are, whatever it is that you require. And so from here, we would go in, you have to come up to the license tab and you could say new license. And we're going to issue a license and 5.2s, and we're just going to, the system's automatically defaulted to have the license expire from 1 year from the date that you're inputting it. Now, a lot of people like to have them expire the 1st of the month or the 30th of the month, and you can certainly check that date and change that and say accept. Now, we want to assign this to George Garage, so we type in GEO, there's George Garage, and we click save. Okay, so now as you can see in the background, George Garage actually has a green license. Now, why is that important? Because that's the only way that George Garage can actually show up on the approved vendor list in order to do business in your respective location. So now that we've searched for George Garage, which is a mocked up company name, just for demonstration purposes, we want to show you exactly how the licensing works to show people. Okay, so now we're going to cover the licensing and the importance of current licenses and how the system responds to those that have a license and those that do not have a license. And we've created a mock name George Garage here. I'm going to open him up and show you that he does not have a license. However, he is a certified Indian company, which means he's just kind of waiting to be approved to get a license. So the export to PDF button allows us the flexibility to export the approved list. Now, keep in mind that this system is currently sorting through 3,451 records to find, first off, the certified Indian companies, and then to find out the certified Indian companies that have a current license so that they can appear on the list. And we know that George does not have a certified license, so we're going to cruise down here to the G's, and there you see G and G Construction and Good Voice. What we don't have is we do not have George Garage. So I'm going to go back into the system here, and once again, here's how you search for the company name, which is GEO. And when George Garage opens, we're going to go in here and issue him a license. Now, since he has never had a license, that means that you can't issue one from here. And the purpose and the reasoning behind that is so that you are cognitive to the fact that you need to make sure that he has all of his paperwork in place. However, once that you've determined that, a license can be issued from the license tab up on top. We're going to issue a fake license and select the date that expires. By default, the system is set to expire 1 year from the date that you're inputting the information. Some people like to set this to expire the 1st of the month or the 31st of the month. That way all of their renewals happen at approximately the same time, which creates less confusion. So we'll make this the 31st. Click accept. Now we need to assign this to this contractor. We're going to find George Garage in here. There it is. And we're going to say save. Now, if you remember, George Garage did not appear on this list. Okay, I'm going to close this list, and we're going to go back to the export to PDF feature. Contractors, browse contractors, export to PDF, and once again we want to export the certified Indian company. Okay, here's our certified Indian companies list. We'll just get down here to the G's, and as we scroll through these, whoops, excuse me, you can see now that George Garage is on the approved list. So that's one of the important features of the licensing feature, and how people appear on the list. And they can appear on multiple lists, as you can very well see. They could be denoted certified Indian company and also 100% TAT, or whatever they might be, whatever they've been approved to be licensed for. So with that said, we will the other thing that I want to show you right now with the licensing issue is that this system, another important aspect of the licensing is that, and the importance of obtaining a bona fide email address, is that this system is automatically designed to send a notification out to the primary email on the system, my email that shows you that this was sent to this person and they're about to expire. So this information is doled out every at the 30-day mark. Then a reminder is sent at the 15-day mark, and they're automatically generated. So that's just going to happen during the renewal period for that individual contractor or company. So that's how the contractor system works with the licensing. Thanks for spending time with us today with the Compliance Project Management System video series. We covered quite a bit of ground today. However, there are additional features and modules for this system that will cover in additional videos more in depth. So you get an opportunity, be sure to join us for that. And if you have any questions or comments on how this is working for you or what you'd like to see new, just be sure to drop us a line. Thanks.